Hi, I'm Salvation and this is just a quick video with another Breachlord kill after the Blade Vortex double dip nerf that came with a 2.5.1 patch just some hours ago. As you can see, the build still works well. The single target damage on tough enemies went down, but it's still pretty good for what it is. I also wanted to use this video to give you my thoughts and conclusions on this build. But before all this, I wanted to say a big thanks to all my old and new subscribers. I just passed the 1k subscriber mark and it really means a lot to me. I always try to improve my content and help out with questions about my build or anything related to Path of Exile, so don't hesitate to ask something or suggest things that I could improve. When I started this build, I did not expect it to be as good as it is now, and I'm pretty happy with the result. It's a perfect build for breaches, breachlords and maps. As long as you care a little about the damage over time effects, you are very safe while mapping. Some bosses have obvious one-shot mechanics that I still recommend to dodge, but most other boss attacks can be face tanked. Especially breaches are perfect for this build, as we get attacked a lot from hundreds of mobs, and these situations are where this build excels in. Surprisingly enough, I even managed to take down all 4 guardians, and even those that are immune to poison were not impossible. Overall, I would even say that Chimera and Hydra were overall better fights for this build, as they have less big damage hits than Phoenix or Minotaur. I never intended to kill Uber, Ciri or Shaper with this build, as these fights are mostly working against the block mechanic pretty hard with big dots and one-shots. As it turned out that the build was doing a lot better than expected, I tried it anyway. Uber Ciri did work out better than expected. The oversouls, trash mobs and the trio are totally doable. Ciri herself is just nasty though, with the constant bleeds from the spear, burns from the flame blast and very high damage per attack in general. It's down to lucky blocks most of the time, and if it fails you just drop dead. The split phase is doable with Var lightning traps and lucky blocks, but overall I would not recommend trying this fight. The build just isn't made for it. High damage with Leech works much better in these situations compared to Aegis and block. Same thing for the Shaper, but here it's even worse in my opinion. The Big Beam is a damage over time effect that can't be blocked. The teleport is a one-shot, and the annoying vortex fields that come in from the sides are also dots. The good part is that we can survive the bullet hell phase and don't need to worry about his normal ball attacks too much. The conclusion is the same as Uber Ciri. I won't recommend to try this. It's a bit of a shame though that in a game as diverse as Path of Exile is when it comes to builds, the only solution for the hardest bosses seems to be high damage and Leech, as this is as simple as it gets when it comes down to the mechanics. I honestly don't know why GGG thought that the Shaper fights needed these vortex fields. All they do is fuck over block builds and builds that don't have the damage to burst down the Shaper fast. And builds like that are really not the meta at the moment or in the past leaks. If anything, the Shaper would have needed a protection from being bursted down so fast that all his mechanics and attacks don't even matter. But PoE is a game with many options for endgame, and Shaper and Uber are just being pretty high above everything else in the game when it comes to the damage that you need to bring them down fast. So, as I said, this build isn't a Shaper killer, but I'm happy with the build how it is. A really tanky and reliable build with more than enough damage for high tier mapping, breaches and leveling. I hope you enjoyed the video and don't mind me being honest with my conclusion. I'm Salvation and I hope to see you around in my next video.